Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the India Today, Business Today Budget Conclave. The politics of Budget 2024. A budget which takes place against the backdrop of a pretty extraordinary Lok Sabha verdict is bound to be influenced at some level or the other by the politics of the budget. Which is why that's exactly what we're going to explore over the next 40 or so minutes. The politics of Budget 2024. Joining us now on this very special discussion, please welcome Professor Gourav Vallabh.
Hello.
He is someone who has been a professor, is still a professor on Lien from XLRI, so knows a thing or two about economics, and has since, of course, switched to the world of politics. He joins us from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Also joining us is Krishna Prasad Tenneti. He is the MP from Bapatla in Andhra Pradesh. Please give him a very big hand. He comes from the party which is the one which many believe holds the key to the future of the next of this government over the next couple of years. So that's why we kept him in the center. Next to him is Salman Soz of the Congress Party, Vice President of the All India Professional Congress. Please give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. And our final guest, last but not the least, is Sushmita Dev of the Trinamool Congress, its Member of Parliament. Appreciate all of you joining us. Thank you very much. Let's start with that question. And Professor Vallabh, why don't you pick it up? Would I be right in saying that Budget 2024 is a budget that has been delivered under the shadow of an election outcome that was less desirable or unexpected in a way for the BJP, and therefore it is at one level a budget of political compromise, a recognition of election outcomes?
Rajdeep, it is not election outcomes, it is economic outcomes which were there in the economy. This budget was on that. And many times, a lot of critics used to say that the budget, there is no focus on employment. So if I line up this budget, then this budget is focused on employment, creating 4.1 crore employment, putting 2 lakh crore for the employment. And there are 5 schemes, Rajdeep. And these schemes are not the schemes just for the name of the scheme. 500 fortune companies are going to train 1 crore underprivileged youth of our country, and government is going to pay 6,000 rupees per month. So this is going to be the pool for the MSME for the future. These 1 crore youth of our country who are not getting the best trainings in the best companies, now government is paying the internship to them, and they are going to be the pool for putting the MSME. Second, there is a first-time financial assistance. So if someone, young person joins EPFO, government is going to pay 15,000 rupees. And by this, they 2.1 crore, 2 crore 10 lakh, 2.1 crore young people are going to be benefited by this scheme. Then there is a scheme to put a thrust on the manufacturing sector. Then there is a scheme to put on the thrust on the formalization of the employment. Because in the India unemployment report of 2024, one of the key findings was that employment is there, but the quality of employment is not very great. So this budget is purely focused on employment, improving quality of employment, focusing on manufacturing and service sector, which are creating employment for the young people of our country. So this is employment, full employment, sustainable employment, and the employment for the future. This is the core of this budget.
Which again leads me to ask you the question, has your government suddenly discovered this 10-letter word called employment? Because in this budget, you have the finance minister, a word count that we did at India Today showed the finance minister used the word employment 23 times in the budget. In the previous 5 budgets, she had not even used it 10 times all put together. Suddenly you have discovered, yaar, berozgar log hain. Rozgar is an issue. It took an election outcome for you to suddenly recognize that employment is an issue.
Rajdeep, very interesting question you had asked. And this content analysis which you are pointing out.
Yeah, word count analysis.
This is content analysis,
yes,
na?
Yes.
It's a part of content analysis. This is purely absurd, and I will give you the reason. Like in the budget, only twice the word defense was used, and the major allocation was to the defense. Earlier, before 2017, we used to have railway budget. Now we are not having any railway budget. Do you mean that modernization had stopped? In fact, it is improved further. So this content analysis, how many times I am saying, Rajdeep, that after the show you are saying, sir, you mentioned my name 5 times. I mentioned Salman's name 3 times. So it doesn't mean that I am more close to Rajdeep and I hate Salman.
No, but in your, 1 minute. Sir, in your opening remarks today itself, you have said employment.
Yes.
I mean, I never heard this for the last 5 years.
Because, Rajiv, the demographic dividend which is there in our country, and in the economic survey also it was pointed out that 80 lakh employment jobs in the non-farm sector has to be created. And for next 5 years, 4.1 crore jobs are already secured. Now जो होगा उसका नफा होने वाला है. बेस तो तैयार हो गया 4 करोड़ 10 लाख.
सर मैं एक आखिरी बार आपको पूछता हूं, would you concede that all of this is because of the election verdict? अगर आप 400 पार जाते तो आप यहां आकर employment नहीं कहते. You went for the reason you are talking about employment, you got 240. The voter has sent you a message.
Rajiv, you are focused on election outcomes. I am more focused on the economic outcomes.
Okay.
मुझे तो अर्थशास्त्र दिख रहा है जहां पर डेमोग्राफी है मेरे देश की. 80 लाख लोग एंटर हो रहे हैं जॉब मार्केट में हर साल. मैंने उनको 4 करोड़ 10 लाख का ब्लूप्रिंट दे दिया. कहां से मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में कितने लाऊंगा, एम्प्लॉयर के ईपीएफओ में कितने 3,000 रुपए दूंगा, 15,000 रुपए फर्स्ट टाइमर को दूंगा, 6,000 रुपए इंटर्नशिप दूंगा. अब इसमें क्या गलती है राजदीप जी?
No,
इसमें
no, 1 minute. Sir, I'll come to that. In fact, we will come at some stage to these schemes which Congress claims is copy-paste from their manifesto. We'll come to those schemes. But Salman Soz, the fact is, let us assume for a moment that this is the outcome of the elections, that the government has put employment at the top. What's wrong with it? I mean, any government is going to respond to what they see on the ground. The government has done that. They are an intelligent political party which has recognized ground realities. Congress doesn't have a patent on employment.
No, Rajdeep,
and people are berozgar because you ran the country for so many years, they say.
Yes. I mean, everything is because of Pandit Nehru. That is why. Look, I like the fact that Gourav is putting up a spirited defense. He's my brother from our older times in the Congress party. I wish him well, but the fact of the matter is that we have to think of this budget as one accounting exercise, but we have to provide some context. This is a very serious issue that we are facing.
Salman, can you hold the mic slightly closer? Yeah.
So this is serious stuff. So let's just look at a few numbers. Just please think about them. And then you decide then we can talk about what we can do about it. In this country, household savings are at a 50-year low. Household savings. Manufacturing as a share of the economy is the lowest since 1967. ये कह रहे हैं ना manufacturing jobs create करेंगे. Manufacturing as a share of the economy is the lowest since 1967. India's poorest 50% pay 65% of GST. Your taxes, the tax structure now, and I'm sure a lot of you pay taxes, probably everybody. In New India has a new tax structure in which personal income taxes pay for 19% of overall revenues come from personal income taxes. GST provides another 18%, but corporate taxes are at 17%. Understand? So it's ulta pulat. So this is New India taxes. In 2019, the government gave a massive tax cut to corporations in this country, saying that they would invest more and we'll create more jobs. That's what they said. And we told them it is not going to happen. Since 2000 till 2023, after these massive tax cuts, corporations have doubled their profits. Sorry. Tripled their profits. Sorry. Quadrupled their profits. And still, private investment is down in this country. They're banking their profits. And the government says, we'll give tax cuts and jobs will be created. Now, they want to tell us that we're going to get foreign direct investment from China. What's wrong with this? There is no problem, let's get foreign investment from China. Of course, foreign investment is down to a 16-year low in this country. You have decimated the small and medium enterprises. How are you going to create jobs? The Fortune 500 companies that the Prime Minister and Finance Minister are relying on, they have total labor force of 3 crore worldwide. How are they going to give 1 crore internships to Indians? This is madness. किसी ने बोल दिया, bureau किसी ने बना दिया, 1 crore अच्छा number लगता है, उसको लगा दो. We have to be serious. This is ridiculous. अब मैं आपको एक ऐसा number देता हूँ, and you will basically just think about it. Unemployment India जैसी countries में it's relatively low. You have to think about labor force participation. What that means is, if you have a job, or if you're looking for a job, that is labor force participation. India is 10 percentage points below the global average, Rajdeep. 10 percentage points below the global average. And 20 percentage points below China. If India has to reach global average of labor force participation, we need to have 18 crore people additional in the labor force today. 18 crore just to reach the global average. Aap kahan pe reh rahe hain? We should get serious. This is not a serious budget because I don't expect a budget to be a big policy document. But लेकिन कुछ तो बोलते हैं ना कि हम क्या करेंगे. They spend more time talking about Andhra Pradesh and Bihar than about climate change and technological disruption. What is wrong with these people?
No, Professor Soz, I'll come to Andhra Pradesh and Bihar in a moment, but the question to you also is the same.
Yes.
You're saying this here in a gathering with Gourav Vallabh, but your lead speaker in the budget, P. Chidambaram, took credit, saying that the BJP has copied our ideas on employment. So are you saying that the ideas that the BJP has copied, that the idea that BJP has of an internship scheme is a scheme that you all don't agree with, or is it a scheme taken from your right to apprenticeship which they've copied? Which is it? In Parliament you say it's a copycat budget. Here you come and say they're not serious about the budget.
Rajdeep. If they take ideas from the Congress Manifesto, great. Anything that helps our young people, whether it comes from Congress, TMC, TDP, BJP, we welcome it. But the employment-linked incentive scheme, or the other internship schemes, these are small steps. It's like small little things. You need big market interventions. I'll give you an
but
example.
you didn't have one. I've gone through your manifesto. You didn't have some big ticket scheme that was suddenly going to ensure that these
but
18 crore Indians.
I will tell you what it is. I'll give you an example that will illustrate the problem that we have, and it will also give you a solution. Think about religious tourism as an example. The finance minister's speech had that. But we should not, of course we should have religious tourism. But we should have sector-wide interventions. That's where the government comes in. The central government can play an enabling role for the market. Market reforms. We should not be pro-business. We should be pro-market. Let the businesses compete. That's the idea. Those are the kinds of ideas. You get out of the way of people. Let people do their work.
Okay.
Don't start hounding them. You will see flourishing kind of a business in this country.
Okay, you want a quick response to that?
Rajdeep,
Where is the imagination?
I'm coming to that. I was reminded of one story when I was in class 10th. There was a topper and there was one guy who used to have a pass by supplementary or pass by grace. The best result for that guy is pass by grace. And this guy is passed always, that he's topping the class. So the grace guy used to tell his father or parents, ये किताब से कॉपी करके लिखता है. अरे किताब से ही तो करेगा कॉपी. आपको किताब पढ़नी आती नहीं है. So you are saying ये किताब से, अरे किताब, there are ideas, everybody knows, Rajdeep, that if you want to create jobs, we have to focus on manufacturing. If you have to create a inflation-free environment, right now India is the only country, Rajdeep, you will be surprised, India is the only country in the world with high growth, low inflation. You take all advanced economies, all emerging market economies, China, America, Britain, Germany, France, Philippines, Vietnam, Taiwan, you name any country. There is only one country in the world which is at high growth, low economy, high growth, low inflation. Now coming to copy, अरे भाई आइडिया की किसी का राजदीप 6 into 2 कितना होता है 12. मैंने बोला, अब आपसे मैंने पूछा कितना होता है, आपने भी कहा 12. राजदीप इज कॉपिंग मी, ही इज कॉपिंग मी. कैन आई मेक दिस टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स? अरे आइडियाज आर देयर दोज ओनली. एंड अच्छा, सी द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट.
ये तो बात है सर, आपने ये राइट टू नहीं सर, बस कभी भी आपकी पुरानी पार्टी को थोड़ा तो क्रेडिट दीजिए. उन्होंने अपने मैनिफेस्टो में पहले डाला था, दे कॉल्ड इट अप्रेंटिसशिप, यू रीनेम्ड इट एज इंटर्नशिप. यू आर वेरी गुड एट चेंजिंग नेम्स.
Rajdeep, he knows, Salman is aware of that. Unfortunately, मैं जब बीकॉम में पढ़ता था तब भी वही आदमी कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो बनाता था जिसने अभी बनाया. उसके पास नया आइडिया हो ही नहीं सकता है. आई कैन गिव यू इन राइटिंग, I can give you in writing. Salman has to agree in front of you all कि the same guy is making the manifesto. When I was in BCom final year in 1998, the same guy was making manifesto. Today also is making.
आपका कौन बनाता है?
मैं आ रहा हूँ. आपका मैंने तो बना दिया ना.
ये कहते हैं कि आपके पार्टी में भी कहते हैं कि फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर तो कुछ बनाता नहीं है.
राजदीप 4 करोड़ 10 लाख रोजगार, 4 करोड़ 10 लाख. ये कोई ऐसे नहीं है कि भाग्य बोल के अगले बजट में बताएंगे रिपोर्ट कार्ड लेके कि 4 करोड़ 10 लाख में से 1 करोड़ यहाँ पे लगे हुए हैं इन लोगों के इन कंपनीज में अप्रेंटिसशिप. और एक 10 सेकेंड, एक कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन देखिए. पहले तो बोलते बजट खराब, फिर बोलते कॉपी पेस्ट. तो इसका मतलब आपका मैनिफेस्टो खराब. भाई दोनों चीजें नहीं हो सकती है.
Okay.
Can these two things are possible? Rajdeep, tell me.
They said one particular aspect of the budget is copy paste, but Salman shows a quick response.
जो ये employment की बात करते हैं ना, 4 करोड़ 10 करोड़ पता नहीं कितने कितने. Let me just say this. India is one of only 2 countries in the G20 group of countries where agricultural employment has gone up. जब development होती है, agriculture में जो employment होती है वो कम होती है. India and South Africa, only 2 countries. This is their model. This is where they want to take India.
Okay. Okay. As always, the allies who in many ways will hold the key to what happens politically over the next 5 years, often often lose out because of the 2 big parties. So, Krishna Prasad, sir, tell us this. Would you agree that this is an election outcome budget, that Andhra Pradesh, just as employment was mentioned 23 times, Andhra Pradesh was mentioned more than any other state barring Bihar. To that extent, you've suddenly got clout. All these years, Chandrababu Naidu between 2014 and 18 was in Delhi, didn't get special status. Now he's getting everything he wants, 15,000 crores to Amravati and much more for other projects. So to that extent, is it an election outcome budget?
Rajdeep, it's very difficult at this stage to separate politics from economics as we stand today here, or we sit together here. I would like to remind you that there was an interim budget in February 2024. And the actual budget which has come out now, it's a simple outflow or consequential budget of February 2024. And February 2024 interim budget was purely economical. There was no politics in it. And what has come out today is purely, when I say consequential, where is the politics in that? Suddenly, where do you read politics? Now, let me quote India Today that has come today. It says, quote, Budget 2024 sees the Modi government take the problem head on, with Sitaraman announcing the Prime Minister's package of 5 major employment-related schemes that had an ambitious rupees 2 lakh crore outlay spread over 5 years to facilitate jobs and skilling to 41 million youth, full stop. Now, this is very important, what I'm saying now. It is probably the boldest job creation mission, unquote. Now look at what experts are saying. What we need to understand is, if you keep the politics aside, or if you will be very, very unhappy with me if I don't talk politics, so I will mention one single word on politics. There are states like Karnataka, Telangana, other Congress parties, Congress states, which made tall promises, right? 6 promises, 5 promises before elections. But what happened after the elections? Are they actually delivering? So promising is not important at all in politics. Promising before politics, it's very simple to do. But actually delivering, the citizen delivery mechanism is there with you or not is very, very important for you to calibrate before you make the promises before the elections. It's very simple to make promises before the elections. Did you make the back of the envelope calculations or simply made promises to win the elections? Now, if you look at the need of the country, again, I'm coming back to economics. The need of the country, and we have seen what has happened to India, rest of the world during the COVID times. Which economy survived? Which economy is marching forward? What happened to the major economies, the advanced economies? Are they still not crawling? So now, from 11th position, you have come to the 5th position. And there are signs all over. The writing is on the wall for you to see. India is marching to be the 3rd largest economy in the world. And you are having all the steps, right steps taken in this budget. For example, if you compare China and India, and if you look at the demographic dividends, what happens if you don't take care of the youth today? You talked about what is going to happen on the demographics in 2030. And if you don't do anything today in 2024, and for the next 5 years, you are going to be a disastrous economy in 2030.
No, but I will still persist in asking you. You heard Salman Soz suggest also. It suddenly seems just as the government has discovered employment, they've discovered Andhra Pradesh. I mean, why do you accept that you now have the leverage? Is it true that Chandrababu Naidu came and said, I don't want major ministries, I want financial outlays for Andhra Pradesh, which is just one of 28 states in this country?
I have an answer for that, Rajdeep. Please look at the budget outlay for major sectors. What is the outlay for agriculture? What is the outlay for Panchayat Raj and rural development? Is it not in lakhs of rupees? What is the outlay for energy? What is the outlay for health, education? These are all in lakhs of crores of rupees. And what is that is mentioned against Andhra Pradesh and Bihar? Is it in lakhs? It is not in lakhs. It's a delta. It's a simple small delta.
So you're saying that the outlays on major schemes are such that they will include every state of India. Don't look specifically at Andhra schemes like Amravati's development. Look at the larger picture. Which brings me to you, Sushmita Dev, because your party, for example, says this is a Kursi Bachao budget. Suddenly you call it a Kursi Bachao budget. When you were in the UPA, Mamata Banerjee was ready to walk out on FDI and retail. And she vetoed virtually Manmohan Singh on FDI and retail. That was okay. That was coalition politics. When Narendra Modi does it, it becomes Kursi Bachao. You can't have double standards on this, surely.
See, I don't think we should blame Andhra or Bihar for demanding something from Prime Minister Modi. And like he said, politics and economics are connected. And I'm sure they agreed on a lot of things before the alliance happened. But the fact is, flowing from what he said, Mr. Krishna Prasad said that there have been lakhs of rupees given to rural and this and that. But what stood out is in the entire budget speech, the finance minister chose to specifically speak on 2 states. That is the first sign of appeasement. So you are asking me that Mamata Di asked for this and asked for that. So my answer to that is, I am not blaming Andhra and Bihar. You must keep the pressure. We want you to keep the pressure. You must keep the pressure. But what I'm saying is, the way the budget was presented by only talking about 2 states, I thought that the message was very clear that the Modi government, which had said 400 par and which had 303 in last election, was now tamed.
It's
They
playing
were,
intelligent
they were
politics.
forced to say,
No,
we're
no,
giving this
Sushmita
to
Dev-
Andhra and this to Bihar.
No, Sushmita Dev, they're playing intelligent politics. They've recognized that Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu need to be kept happy. What's wrong with that? Manmohan Singh knew he had to keep Mamata Banerjee happy.
Then you and I are agreeing. So we are saying it's a kursi bachao government. You are also saying the same
Yeah,
thing.
what about the
He has
mention-
to keep them happy. So मैं भी तो यही कह रही थी, he has to keep them happy.
You are twisting it to say kursi bachao. I am saying kursi ko thoda aur mazboot karo.
And you know, the other thing is, Salman and I were saying that we both have to make sure that we don't upset Krishna Prasad ji, because we may need him in the future. So I am not going to say anything about Andhra. So I will tell Krishna Prasad ji, go for it, keep the pressure on, take the money, and we also in our states will do the same.
Sushmita ji, thank you very much. We will go for it. And please remember, in the same budget and the budget speech, there was a mention about the eastern sector.
Yes.
There was a mention about the industrial corridor in the north from Amritsar. There was a mention about the industrial corridor from Visakhapatnam to Chennai, which is in Tamil Nadu and not in Andhra Pradesh. There was a mention about the northeastern region. There's a mention about so many areas. Now, if you expect finance minister to mention every state, every union territory, what I'm saying is, if you look at the overall picture, the large picture of the budget, when I said about lakhs and lakhs of crores of allocation to different sectors, where is it going? It is going to every state. It goes to every union territory.
That's a point somewhere, Salman Soz, before I come back to Gourav Vallabh, that the opposition keeps saying discriminatory federalism is being practiced. Truth of the matter is, as is being suggested, the finance minister in a budget speech cannot refer to every state of the country. There are only so many states. She's promised for Himachal Pradesh, which is Congress ruled, that rehabilitation for those who've been flood affected, monies will be given to Himachal Pradesh. She's not saying that I won't give monies to Himachal Pradesh. It appears that everyone is cherry picking. When you say that this is discriminatory federalism, you're only referring to specific. When there's a skill development program, the skills will be applied for Jammu and Kashmir, it will apply for West Bengal as well.
That's fine, Rajdeep. I mean, this is politics, so we will blame them, they'll blame us, that's okay. But we also have to take a step back and see what's happened in this country in the last 10 years. I think there's, after that promise of cooperative federalism, I think we've seen enough instances, plenty of instances where the government, at the central government level, basically has centralized a lot of power and has essentially, defanged governments in places where the opposition was in power. Even during this budget speech is in some ways emblematic. It's almost like इनकी आदत नहीं छूटती. इनको लगता है इनके 400 पार अभी हो गए. इनको अभी दिमाग में ये भी समझ नहीं आया that this is not the same time. The Prime Minister's personal margin of victory came down from 6.5 lakhs to 1,50,000 votes. This is a message for him directly from the people of Varanasi and India. Sambhal jao. Have some humility. They lost Ayodhya. Have some humility. So, that means take everybody along. You spoke about Andhra, absolutely, why not? Isn't Andhra part of India? Bihar, of course, Bihar needs a lot of help. If Bihar becomes stronger, India will become stronger. But Tamil Nadu suffered devastating floods. Bengal suffered devastating floods. Climate change is going to affect all of us. See what happens to Vidarbha. Mark my words, Vidarbha. I'm not from there, I'm from Kashmir. Vidarbha is one of the hot spots for climate change. We have to think together. India is a union of states after all. No, I think that is where the problem is. You cannot play politics when it comes to India.
Let Gourav Vallabh respond, because Gourav Vallabh, we've just had a Niti Aayog meeting where the opposition parties have boycotted The likes of Mamta Banerjee walked out, the others didn't even come. Even someone like Stalin chose not to come. And part of the argument that Stalin makes is when floods take place in Tamil Nadu, especially in southern Tamil Nadu, they don't get grants and allocations. The moment there's flood in Gujarat, the Prime Minister does an aerial survey, immediately money is released. Now, here is a government which promised cooperative federalism, but according to the opposition is practicing discriminatory federalism. How do you respond? Because ultimately India will grow when every state of India grows. India cannot grow anymore from Delhi. India has to grow from state capitals. How do you respond?
Rajdeep, let us talk with numbers rather than making allegations. Out of 12.5 lakh crore rupees of central taxes and duties, West Bengal got 95,000 crore, which is 7.5% of the total disbursement. What is the answer? No. बंगाल का नाम क्यों नहीं लिया? मैं ले लेता हूँ वेस्ट बंगाल, वेस्ट बंगाल, वेस्ट बंगाल, वेस्ट बंगाल, 5 बार ले लिया. सेकेंड, आउट ऑफ रेलवे एक्सपांशन 3,000 करोड़ टू हिमाचल, सलमान, 3,500 करोड़ टू जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, 10,376 crore to northeast. I am taking the name now. Details are there in the names. You are not seeing those details. Now coming to the argument about Bihar. Rajdeep, बक्सर पर गंगा मैया के पुल बनेगा तो सबसे ज्यादा फायदा तो बंगाल और नॉर्थ ईस्ट को होगा. समझते ही नहीं बात को. अरे अगर बक्सर पे पुल बनेगा तो गाड़ियां बंगाल और नॉर्थ ईस्ट से नॉर्थ इंडिया को और ईस्टर्न वेस्टर्न इंडिया को ज्वाइन करेगी. यू आर नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग.
As long as the bridge doesn't collapse.
26,000 crore rupees or for the roads in the Bihar, they are not understanding that कि बिहार का नाम ज्यादा क्यों ले लिया. किस किस का नाम कितनी बार लेना लिख के दे दो. कितनी बार लेना? जम्मू कश्मीर का लूं सलमान, 5 बार ले लूं. जम्मू कश्मीर, जम्मू कश्मीर. एक मिनट सुष्मिता जी, आसाम प्लीज. सुष्मिता जी, आसाम ले लिया. अब आसाम का why you are anti Assam, I can't understand. When there is a road network in Bihar, then only the merchandise of Assam and Northeast can have a movement, logistic movement to northern India, to the western India. You are not understanding this thing.
No, one second.
Problem is that I have to first of all say, cut copy paste हो गया. तो इसका मतलब आपका कॉपी लिया, फिर थोड़ी देर बाद ये बजट बेकार है, इस बजट में मजा नहीं आया, इसका मतलब आपका खराब. फिर बोले बिहार और आंध्रा को क्यों दे दिया. अरे वी आर लिविंग इन ए यूनाइटेड नेशन कंट्री है हमारा देश, जिसमें आंध्रा भी है, तेलंगाना भी है, बंगाल भी है, असम भी है. वाई यू आर. और जब तक बिहार में सड़क नहीं बनेगी, नॉर्थ ईस्ट का माल दिल्ली नहीं पहुंच पाएगा. राजदीप, you can't take that truck to Delhi. If you want to improve the businesses of northeast of the Bengal, you have to create a road infrastructure in Bihar. That is what it is done. अब और एक
minute, this is not a monologue like the parliament. You give us a chance to talk.
Data
just one second. I want to tell.
Madam, please.
I'll let you respond. Let him finish his data.
Don't be against Assam, please. Next. Then the problem is that, Rajdeep, you are seeing the budget from a very narrow mindset. You are seeing the budget कि कुछ ना कुछ इसमें से निकालूं और मैं बोलूं. पहले राजदीप, एम्प्लॉयमेंट इतनी बार आया तो बोलेंगे अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट क्यों नहीं आया. एम्प्लॉयमेंट ही क्यों आया? उतनी बार अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट भी आना चाहिए था. अप्रेंटिस स्कीम आई तो इंटर्नशिप स्कीम क्यों नहीं आई. See, Rajdeep, you have to see the larger picture. India, again I am repeating.
One line, what is the larger picture?
Larger picture is that India is the only country in the world with high growth, low inflation.
Okay.
And we should be proud of that.
Okay. Sushmita Dev, respond to that, because there seems to be almost an attitude of non-cooperation. Just as you are accusing the government of discriminatory federalism, the government will accuse the opposition of non-cooperation. You don't even want to attend Niti Aayog meetings, or you all want to walk out of Niti Aayog meetings. How then will you have a dialogue? I mean, tali to do haath se bajti hai. You're also going to have to reach the government more than halfway. You see, just as they seem to believe they were 400 par, you also seem to believe that with 234 you are in the government now. I mean, you haven't been elected by the people.
Rajdeep, Chief Minister of Bengal came to Delhi in December 2023 to meet the Honorable Prime Minister of India. So it's not like she has not come and batted for the state, putting her demand forth. But till today, she's repeatedly saying that you have blocked 1,71,000 crore rupees of Bengal. She was the single opposition chief minister who went to the Niti Aayog. And imagine calling chief ministers and telling them, please note, कि जो आपने बोलना है वो लिख के पहले भेज दीजिए 7 दिन पहले. और आप इस देश के मुख्यमंत्रियों को जैसे 5-5, 10-10 मिनट अलॉटमेंट कर रहे हैं. और कौन कर रहा है? नीति आयोग, who doesn't have a single power to make any disbursements. Niti Aayog is an empty bag which is like a think tank of the government. They should be grateful chief ministers are coming to them. Every institution has been decimated by the Modi government and Planning Commission is one of them.
Okay.
Let me make it clear. And one thing I want to say, whether I am anti-Assam or anti-this, that people will decide. I just want to give you one fact and figures because you keep talking about numbers. In the Lok Sabha, the Home Ministry has given data that consistently for the last 3 years, Assam has got only 10% of what they've demanded from NDRF. So, मुझे Assam के बारे में भाषण आप तो मत दें.
By the way, there is a BJP government in Assam. So there, Himanta Biswa Sarma may latch on to your argument in a very different context. But Salman Soz, I asked him for the big picture and he gave me a one-line big picture. We are one of the few countries and oasis that has high growth and low inflation. Will you not credit the Modi government? Or is politics so partisan or hyper-partisan that you can never credit anyone for at least keeping inflation relatively low in very tough times?
For God's sake, we have to start speaking the truth. The truth is that just in this last month, food price inflation, which is what matters to probably the overwhelming majority of this country, food price inflation was 9%. But average pe mat jaiye. Go deeper. Pulses, dal, 16%. Vegetables, almost 30%. So never believe in averages. दूसरी बात, ये कहते हैं ना कि हमारे TDP के जो neutral friend है हमारे MP साहब, he, of course that's why, he said that India is on the path to become the 3rd largest economy, right? It is true. And let me tell you one more thing, I'll tell you a secret. If he was the Prime Minister, or if you were the Prime Minister, India would still be the 3rd largest economy. It is no thanks to Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi has been trying to perpetuate this basic canard, this lie, this propaganda, that मैं हिंदुस्तान को 3rd largest economy बनाता हूँ. मैं आपको कहता हूँ, anyone in this audience was the Prime Minister, India would still be the 3rd largest economy because that is the way population and economic growth work. ये लोगों को बेवकूफ बनाने में लगे हुए हैं. ये टाइम जाया कर रहे हैं हिंदुस्तान का.
No, Salman Soz, the Prime Minister claims that in 2013 that when you all were in power, no, just a minute. The Prime Minister claims that when you were in power in 2013-14, India was seen among the fragile 5.
Yes.
Therefore, they are looking at India over the last 10 years. You're right. A country is bound to grow over a period of time. But will you at least concede if there are you going to make no concessions at all to this government?
I will make concessions on the budget, not just concessions. We should be happy that some good things are happening. They decriminalize this, delays in TDS submission. That is good. Why should we criminalize civil matters? We should not do it. Angel tax may be good. Some good things have happened, and that's very, very good. They're going to review the Income Tax Act. Wonderful. They should do it, and they should do good things. And I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But let me ask them, have you ever heard that a country that is developed, जिसको कहते हैं विकसित भारत, जहां पे agriculture में employment ज़्यादा होती है? Why is it that India and only South Africa are the only 2 G20 countries where agricultural employment has gone up? Why? Let me tell you one more thing. Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji के time में BJP would basically tom this idea that they created 60 million jobs. हमने 60 million jobs create किए और उसके बाद India Shining campaign failed. Do you know why? Because there was employment creation, there was distress employment. बूढ़े लोग, औरतें, खेतों में काम करने जा रहे थे विदाउट एनी मनी, विदाउट एनी कॉम्पेंसेशन, उसको ये एम्प्लॉयमेंट कहते हैं। अभी भी कह रहे हैं, कहते हैं हमने वी क्रिएटेड एग्रीकल्चर में, वी क्रिएटेड crores of jobs. That is unpaid labor. They're mad.
I think Rajdeep,
Okay, well,
let me
sickening.
let me
One
have a
minute,
chance.
1 minute, Salman, you must give more time to TDP. They may be useful for you in the future.
Sorry.
So go ahead, Krishna Prasad.
Right, I think my friend Salman, I think he has taken an extreme one view. What happened during the COVID, my dear friend Salman? Which, and all over the world. I have seen videos of what happened in Italy, Tokyo, and New York. You also see, you have seen those videos. Now, what is happening is, if you are talking in terms of India, you and me are part of India. Don't forget that. And when India marched from the 11th position to 5th position, do you think that the 6th position, 7th position, 8th position, 9th position, 10th position nations are sleeping? They're not doing anything? How did you cross them? How did you cross them in the difficult times of COVID? How did you stabilize your economy? What is the impetus that you have given to the economy? And how many countries in the world have given impetus to the economy during that time? Don't you remember the Atmanirbhar Abhiyan at that time, 2.0?
So would you also concede, though, that was also a period, and again, it's not necessary to blame an individual or a government for it, but the MSME sector in particular took a huge hit, COVID and post-COVID, from which it's still recovering, and a large number of people are essentially employed in that sector.
And
so there seems at times to be a lack of compassion when you throw these numbers at audiences like this, that we are the 5th largest economy on our way to the 3rd. The fact is, at the bottom of the pyramid, people have hurt. And that hurt recognition appears to have finally taken place in Budget 2024.
Once again, Rajdeep, I would like to recollect and remind you, one of the impetus what we talked about during the COVID, 2.0 lakh crore rupees was given for the MSME sector. 1. 2. Even if you look at the current budget, what my friend has mentioned, Professor Gourav, on the top of that what he mentioned, there is a cream. Now we didn't talk about more employment coming into the country from the 2.2 lakh crore to the PM Awas Yojana, that is house construction. We didn't talk about the credit guarantee scheme for MSMEs. More youth are going to get join the MSME clubs, and therefore more employment. We didn't talk about the MSMEs under stress. They are going to be protected. That means there is going to be sustainability in employment. Now the Mudra Bank loan limit has been enhanced from 10 lakh rupees to 20 lakh rupees. And finally, what will be of interest to you is abolishing the angel tax. So more funding, more employment. My last statement is, we need millions of MSMEs to give jobs to billions. And that is what exactly we are doing right now. The country is doing.
Those are fine words. You see, they sound very well in a debate like this. The reality on the ground is very difficult. For example, your internship scheme, 1 crore jobs, 500 companies. Essentially, you are saying 20,000 jobs, interns will be taken by each of these 500 companies.
Rajdeep, you had not gone through the full scheme. Otherwise, you might not have asked this question.
Tell me.
It's not the only company. The vertical, the suppliers also can engage. So it is clearly mentioned there. Coming to my good friend Salman Saab. Salman Saab, ज़्यादा इधर ध्यान मत देना, उधर से निकल जाएगा माल. ये ध्यान रखना. वो इधर आप देखते रहे, उधर से कोई दूसरी पार्टी नहीं निकल जाए.
मेरे भाई गौरव,
चलिए मेरी बात करनी. इधर इनको ध्यान रहे, उधर से कोई और निकल जाए. मेरी एक मिनट सलमान साहब, मेरे को बोलने दीजिए. फिर बोले साहब, ये तो कोई भी कर लेता, किसी को भी बना दो प्रधानमंत्री, कोई भी कर लेता. तो 12 करोड़ शौचालय आपने क्यों नहीं बनाए साहब? 12 करोड़ घरों में पानी का कनेक्शन क्यों नहीं पहुंचाया 60 साल तक? 34 करोड़ लोगों को आयुष्मान कार्ड क्यों नहीं दिया? 52 करोड़ लोगों के खाते क्यों नहीं खुलवाए बैंक में? कोई भी कर लेता ना आपके हिसाब से. तो कमिंग टू दैट, 2000, सुनिए सलमान साहब, पूरी बात सुनिए. 12-13 in 2012-13 and 13-14, the GDP growth was less than 5%. This year it is 8.2%. And our competitors like China, America, I am not going to compete with any other country other than China, America, Germany, Japan. all of them are not growing even at half of the rate. हम 8.2 से ग्रो कर रहे हैं, वो 4 पे भी ग्रो नहीं कर रहे. एक मिनट, राजदीप,
Gourav Vallabh,
राजदीप मेरा
just a minute. Just as I fact checked him, I have to fact check you. If I go by GDP, you're putting yourself in a troubling situation, because if I look at Manmohan Singh's average between 2004 and 2014 is actually better than Narendra Modi 2014 to 2024.
I will answer exactly the pinpoint answer to your question. If you will ignore the 1 year of COVID, I am ignoring only 1 year, not 2 years. Then the Modi government's average GDP growth is higher than 2004 to 14 average growth of UPA 1 and 2. I repeat, and you check on your mobile phones. I argue, you check on your mobile phones. Then coming to inflation. Rajdeep, बात तो करनी पड़ेगी ना? नहीं तो ये
then you come.
फिर बोले साहब इन्फ्लेशन, महंगाई बहुत ज्यादा हो गई, बहुत मुश्किल हो रहा है. अभी आ रहे हैं राजदीप, इधर ज्यादा ध्यान मत देना, उधर देखते रहो, वो नहीं तो मुझे नहीं पता. ये तो मेरे को राजदीप मुझे तो एक ही तरफ मुझे तो एक ही तरफ ध्यान देना है, आपको दोनों तरफ ध्यान देना है. ज्यादा चलिए फिर आए इन्फ्लेशन पे. राजदीप, in last 1 year 300 rupees per cylinder is the price reduction in LPG gas cylinder in our country. गलत बोला क्या? 300 रुपए कम हुए कि नहीं एक साल में?
No, one minute.
You can't make inflation.
Sir, again you're putting yourself in a difficult position.
No, I am not making.
The fact is that when oil prices globally were low, this government did not pass on the benefit to the consumer.
Rajdeep,
but every time there was an election, just before the election, you adjusted prices.
Average inflation from 2014 till date is less than 5%. 5% से कम है, and average inflation during 10 years of UPA was 9.5%. 5% से कम और 9.5 से ज्यादा.
Let Sushmita
एक सेकेंड.
Yes.
भाई, I am not an economist or a professor. यहाँ पे टमाटर का दाम 100 रुपया किलो, आलू का दाम 50 रुपए किलो, प्याज का दाम 60 रुपए किलो, दूध का दाम 60 रुपए किलो, और एलपीजी गैस सिलेंडर का दाम 1100 पर सिलेंडर. फिर भी इनको इन्फ्लेशन नहीं देखते.
No, but the fact is, on inflation, just as on GDP, Manmohan Singh's government can well claim, despite all the facts that Gourav Vallabh throws, Manmohan Singh's government can certainly compete with Narendra Modi's government on growth. But on inflation, they have a much better track record. They have any objective criteria, they have a better track record.
Let me just, even on inflation, let me tell you something. But by the way, जो गौरव ने अच्छा,
no, respond to that.
I will respond to that. गौरव cherry picked COVID के अगर साल को निकालेंगे, GDP growth तो बड़ी अच्छी थी. अगर आप ग्लोबल फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस को निकालेंगे तो फिर तो मनमोहन सिंह जी का मुकाबला आप कर ही नहीं सकते. दैट इज द वे इट इज. यू कैन नॉट चेरी पिक डेटा. द अदर थिंग इज, जो इन्फ्लेशन की बात करते हैं, आप प्लीज सोचिए, when Manmohan Singh ji was our Prime Minister, think about crude oil prices. Crude oil prices have a huge impact on inflation in India because we import so much crude oil. आप तब का crude oil price देखिए, it used to be routinely $115 dollars per barrel, $120 per barrel. अब देखिए क्या है. That is why you should not just simply go by, ये तो कोई अच्छी सी बात है कि सलमान भाई आप लेफ्ट का ख्याल रखो, राइट का ख्याल रखो, ये कहने में ये this is good, it's good politics and all that, but the reality is that India is not doing well. People in this room, we may be doing well, but the vast majority of our fellow citizens are not doing well. If they were doing well, my friends, if they were doing well, please explain to me कि आपका जब मनरेगा budget, Manrega is a demand-driven scheme, right? If people don't have anywhere to go, they go to Manrega. आपने 60,000 crores का budget allocation रखा, वो 84,000 crores पे पहुंच गया, यानी कि 40% more. ये कहेंगे तो बहुत, हमने कितना पैसा लोगों को दे दिया. But the reality is that they couldn't find any other work. Have you seen Manrega work? I've seen it. You know what it is? वो गांव में they create these great walls. It's backbreaking.
Sir, it's your scheme.
No, but it's a great scheme because it saves lives. But the point is,
when it's your scheme, it saves lives. When it's their scheme, it's backbreaking.
No, Rajdeep, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if the situation was good, then so many people would not be flocking to Manrega. The situation is not good. Not good. No matter how much. And by the way, Gaurav, मैं आपको ये भी
Basic question for Congress and BJP.
Final. इसके बाद मैं नहीं बोलूँगा.
Sir, time
It's very interesting that there are.
I think I should be given few seconds.
देखिए, Congress, former Congress. मैं आप गौरव को ये बता दूं, मैं इन दो का तो ख्याल रखूंगा. आपके लिए भी हमारे घर में काफी जगह है.
देखिए.
Okay. Rajdeep, I have a
अभी हम
question.
क्या
very quickly, ma'am, I have 30 seconds. Very quickly, yes.
30 seconds. I just want to say, Congress says that the Nyaya scheme has been copied by BJP. BJP is saying 500 companies, so many jobs. Is it mandatory? Will the companies do it? Please answer a basic question, both of you. I haven't understood.
I answered.
Like,
Rajdeep.
can you force the companies to give these jobs?
Madam, you had not.
500 fortune companies.
Madam, आपने budget document नहीं पढ़ा. पढ़ते तो ये
अरे
सवाल ही नहीं
निर्मला
पूछते.
सीतारमण खुद कह रही,
In
we'll
that
give them a
document
nudge.
it is written
We'll give
that
them a
it is
nudge.
not
What is
only
a
top
nudge?
500 companies, their suppliers, their customers are also
It will
included.
never happen.
तो पढ़ते तो है नहीं.
It
फिर
will
सवाल
never
पूछते.
happen.
फिर बोल रहे कट कॉपी पेस्ट. अरे पढ़ के आया करो.
Can I'm going to give the
मैं
final. Just a minute.
पढ़ती हूँ और
Ma'am,
बीजेपी का
ma'am,
ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड भी
ma'am,
जानती हूँ.
Just a minute. I'm going to give the final word to our guest from TDP because as I said at the outset of the show, and perhaps you could argue that Chandrababu Naidu is now the second most important person in the country, and that's how politics changes. Your sense, people want to know, are you going to continue with this government for 5 years, continuing to extract maximum for Andhra Pradesh? Or will there come a time where you'll move closer to Salman Soz than Gourav Vallabh? Can that ever happen?
Rajdeep, it has become a fashion and a style to talk about Andhra Pradesh, particularly after this budget. Thank you very much. You remember our beloved leader Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu ji so much. Thank you very much. And he is a visionary and he is going to change a lot of things in this country.
Okay.
I'm coming to that, madam.
I've got 30 seconds, sir.
Yes, sir. So now, I'm asking all my friends, can you imagine a country without a capital city? Can you imagine a state without a capital city? When the state of Andhra Pradesh was formed in 2014, who formed that state? Who gave that act, Reorganization Act? And what happened to the funds or the budget that was to be given in 2014? Why did they not give that particular government, central government at that time? And that Amaravati and all
Sir,
through...
you were their allies from 2014 to 18. They didn't give you special status then because they had a majority. Now they need you. That's the difference.
What was to come in 2014 has come now.
Okay.
We are very happy about it.
Okay, let's leave it there. I think that shows how much politics has changed. A year ago, Chandrababu Naidu was in Delhi, couldn't get an appointment with many senior government leaders. Now they'll roll out the red carpet for him. And a year ago, Jagan Mohan Reddy was being courted because he had 11 Rajya Sabha MPs. Now he can't get an appointment with the Home Minister or the Prime Minister. Samay badalta hai, hawa badalti hai. And that perhaps reflects in this budget, which really has, in a way, come under the shadow of the 2024 general election verdict. We don't know what 2025 will bring. In India, even a week is a long time in politics. So let's leave it there. I appreciate all my guests joining us. Please give them a very big hand for a spirited discussion.